I've never had a stretch mark in my life.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to be proud of it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have stretch mark. But pregnancy came with stretch mark. The first stretch mark in my life. And I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
So, and the stretch mark is still there, but I'm learning to live with some of the changes.
Awesome.
And so family planning, the decision to space your kids, the decision to do family planning should be a corporate decision.
They get transformed by the renewing of your minds. Welcome to Moments with the Queen.
Again, welcome. There is always room for more. So this is the second part of a 9-part series where we are talking on transitions. If you have not listened to the first episode where we get to speak on family and friendships, I believe that it would bless you. So this time we are talking on motherhood. Now, I think this particular subject of discourse is one that has been greatly talked about. Yeah. So what's the aspect of motherhood that we'll be bringing into this conversation? What's the perspective that we'll be bringing into this conversation? And this time I have my amiable guest and my friend and sister, Princess David Musa, still with me. I said Princess David Musa and I have been friends since our university days, and we've always had conversations like this in the background, just both of us on the phone. So now we are bringing you into our world, and I assure you that you're going to be blessed. Say hello to that amazing listener.
Hello, and thank you, Susan, for having me here.
Thank God for making this a reality.
Yeah,
okay, so right onto it. We are speaking about motherhood. So I'm going to start with this question. Did you want to get pregnant immediately after you got married?
Okay. So I think that question is tricky. Actually, the idea of getting pregnant and having a baby is something I'd looked forward to.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was scared that it's going to breach the intimacy in my marriage. So I got this school of thought where, okay, you can stay for 1 year with your spouse without getting pregnant. So that was what I wanted to do. But thanks to my husband, Sha, we didn't do it. We got pregnant immediately.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm laughing. It's just so funny because I think my story is very similar to hers. By the way, she wedded in November. I wedded in December. And as at the time I started planning my wedding, Princess didn't even know she was going to marry. But that's a story for another time. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about it on this podcast, except God leads us there. So people that are like, Jehovah sharp ministry, she has the anointing and the grace, and she did not marry anyhow kind of person. But like I said, it's a story for another day. You see, for me, I was doing this same school of thought. I even took it to another level. Because I just felt like, when you're entering into marriage and fear wants to choke your life, but you will not call it fear. You will not be saying it's wokeness. Actually, I don't want just getting in. I don't want a baby because I'm yet to learn my husband. I want to learn him for how many years?
It's a lifetime of learning.
So that's why I'm laughing, because I relate. So yes, she got married in November. I got married in December. She gave birth to her son in September, and I gave birth to my son in October. So we had this 1 month kind of thingy, being at play. And I can totally relate to what she said, because that was my story as well. When I got married, I did not want to get pregnant immediately. Eventually, my perspective changed, but I had that, let me enter in and start first with. So you said thank God for your husband.
Yeah.
That was where your transformation happened. So was he the one that said, okay, baby, let's consider this? Or how did it happen? Because I know how my own happened, I'll tell you.
Okay, so we talked about it even before we got married.
Okay.
So the moment we had the conversation, he was laid back. He was like, I could sense his voice. He was like, am I getting married to one woke generation kind of feminist and everything? So I said, no, it's not. That is just an idea. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. So
well, let's be open to it.
Let's be open to it. Let's deliberate. Yeah. So he said, no, that he's it's not buying that school of thought.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we knew before we got married that we were not going to do that anymore.
Okay. Okay, so for me, in fact, we did counseling with a doctor before we got married, just to know all the possibilities and conversations around family planning, because I mean we were, and I mean we've always been open to family planning. We still are. And I think I just kept on, everywhere I enter, people would just be saying, "Don't stop baby from coming." No, it literally started pursuing me anywhere I enter, because I had my plans. I mean, I was equipped. I carried bazooka and missile. But yeah, I think I just realized that, and that's something that has worked for me in my life. I'm always really about, regardless of what my plans and my desires are, I always believe in let God's will be done.
Yeah.
So that was what I did for myself. So I was like, okay, God, let your will be done. And then I started perceiving that, I mean, it was okay to just rest. And if your child needed to come in, then why not? And then, so this is going to lead me to the next question. Did the coming of your child scatter the bond like you were scared of?
Actually, it didn't.
Okay.
And that was really amazing.
Okay.
So I think the coming of my child just brought a kind of, what I call it, a wholeness. So we became even more intimate. We became intimate because you know, when they say God gives you what you need, God knows what we need.
True.
But
True.
we go for what we want.
True.
So I think most times God just know you need this thing, but you don't know you need
True.
it at the time.
True.
So when our son came, he brought so much
joy.
It brought a more sense of purpose.
Can imagine.
You just become responsible and you're enjoying it. So the whole fear of this is going to be stressful. Yes, it comes with hard work. You're going to actually be, especially if you want to be hands-on, you know, in the raising up your child and everything. But there's this joy that comes with it. There's this purpose that comes with it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And I think it's similar for me. When my son came, I wouldn't even have wanted him any like, in fact, if you had even okay, so let me even share this story, because I mean we're talking about motherhood, and I don't think there's any other episode where we're going to talk about this. I would even have had I would be on my number 2. Well, basically that was because for me my mindset eventually was I just wanted to get it done with and just know that okay, I'm driving and all of that. But I think one of the things that I realized is now there are actually families who, when a child comes in, the father's attention is divided. You know, they change the DP from the wife to the son. The woman changes the DP from the husband to the child. I think somehow before I got married, I have always heard over and over that when a child comes, your love will shift. And so for some reason, I just really wanted to be heavily guarded about it. And one of the things that I did as an individual was that I ensured to always let myself know that my husband is my number 1 at every point in time. Now, I know that we're in a society where people say, your pikin I be your own, no trust men, no. Men are this, so. I mean, I don't even judge people who make those kind of statements. The only thing that I can pray for is that by the mercies of God, God will actually keep us, preserve our homes, and help us to always live a life that pleases Him with Him as the standard. Yeah. Now, if you really desire to live your life with following God's standard, actually, ideally, your husband is your partner, not your child. Your husband comes first. Some people do not like to hear this because they are like, it's the child that is your own. It's the child that will stay with you. And unfortunately, sadly, truly, people have made mistakes in marriages whereby you come and you realize that maybe you married somebody who wasn't as mature as you thought. Yeah. Maybe you married somebody who just so many I wish you, I die known kind of thing. Yeah. And I say it again that there's nothing that God cannot do, because He causes all things to work together for good the moment you bring Him in. You know, but regardless, I just want to put this out again, that the ideal, your husband, that's your partner. Because guess what? Your children will live.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why we have parents who, when it's even that period for a child to transition from one level to another, they are scared. Yes.
Yeah, they're still...
Because some people are so lonely. They've gotten married. They never dealt with that loneliness prior to being married. So now you are in the marriage, but you are still deeply lonely. So you now think, let a child come in. It will cure that loneliness.
But it doesn't.
But it really doesn't. So when the child comes, there is somebody to love on. Some people like to love. And it's not a bad thing, you know. But I just wanted to just put it out there that for me, my child did not split. In fact, if for anything, it bonded I and my husband a lot better. Because at the end of the day, we are able to make decisions and choices, you know, regarding our son. And we get to love each other. And there's just so much. The young man is such a lovely child. And I've seen her son as well. Such children are a blessing from God. Because I know people who get pregnant when they did not expect, and they have questions like, should I take it out? Please, oh. Don't know how true it is, whether my brother was just giving me gist, but my brother that gave me this gist to, in case you go and verify it, was saying something about saying that see Ronaldo's parents almost aborted him or something. Now, like I said, go and verify. I'm not verified, I did not verify it. But I just want to be like, let's assume that this gist is actually true. Imagine taking a child like Ronaldo that's, I mean, look at the influence that man has. Yeah. You cannot tell. And you don't have the right to manipulate the destiny of a child. No, that's the truth. Yeah. You know, so I'm saying this because I'm not, some people say, okay, I'm already having 11 kids. I'm pregnant for the 12th one. Where am I going to get the money? Where am I? All of those things should come prior. You should make that decision before. Now that the child is here, the child is here. Allow the child to live out, you know, their destinies. Okay, so on that note, I hope I'm able to debunk this myth. If you still feel somehow about it, like, sister, I don't think I and my husband are ready yet, take your time. Do you? The main idea is that two should agree concerning. So make sure that you and your husband are in agreement, because I've seen women who the husband wants a child, she doesn't want the child, and she'll be deceiving the man. And she's taking pills, and the man doesn't know. That's not a godly union. Yeah. God doesn't like that. You are not, you are being wise in your own eyes, but and that's the thing with worldly wisdom. It always makes you think you are winning, when in the real sense,
you're losing.
You are losing.
There has to be transparency in marriage.
Do you want to say more about that?
No, go ahead.
Because really, it's sad, and this is a lot of what happened. So I'm going to talk about family planning. Now, this area of family planning, we are not doctors. So basically, of course, what we're talking about is life experiences. But what is your take on family planning? What do you think about family planning? Do you advise? Because I've seen ladies who, they enter into marriage and they don't know how to space their children. They don't know what to do about how to protect themselves from getting pregnant. I'm like, I did not even know. This one now is number 5. I don't know what to do now. So my leg just be. Do you really think that these excuses are as a woman? And then there are some men too that go, don't you know how to handle yourself? So what do you have to say about all of these perspectives?
Okay, so let me start by saying that family planning, the decision to space your kids, the decision to do family planning should be a corporate decision. It's not a female thing. Yeah, it has to be
my body, my decision.
So, and then for men who feel the woman should know about it, you know, there are some men, they are so funny. You don't care. You feel that's not your area. You know, you shouldn't be involved. Please, you need to be hands-on, because we are talking about your family, your kids, your children,
your wife.
So you have to be, exactly. So you are part, and you are part of the process. So when it comes to family planning is good. Why? Because I believe in planning.
Me too.
I believe in planning. I think we should plan for everything, even having kids. Yeah, even having kids, because when you are bringing a child into this world, you are bringing a destiny. You are bringing a person of purpose. You are bringing someone who God created. So you should have plans on ground. I know, yes, we can't have the entire plan.
Everything always under control.
But at least there should be a level of preparation for that child coming. You should have figured out this child is going to have an education, this child is going to eat. You know, the Bible says that a good man leaves inheritance for his children.
Yeah.
So you should have that mindset. Because we live in a generation where people just give birth and then these kids grow up, you don't have plans, and then you begin to put burden on the first child. That thing looks like a norm, but it's not.
It's wrong.
It's very wrong. How about being a foundation for your children to strive on? Do you understand? And we've seen, if you look at celebrities today, like most of the celebrities you see, you can see some people who had advantage.
God bless you.
Of
I
the
want to
good
say
thing.
that, but keep going.
And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So if you found yourself in a situation where you didn't have the advantage, you must not repeat the cycle. It's not a norm. So this is why I think family planning comes to play. It's very important. Although I wish we have, although we'll get to that,
Yeah.
the different
Types.
of family
Yeah,
planning.
but
and
what, like I
everything.
said, because well, let's just talk about it now since you
Okay.
brought it up.
All right.
So, I mean, people have had different experiences with family planning. I, for one, I feel like I can speak a lot about it because I actually, I don't know, I won't use the word. I intentionally, it's something that I practice. And like my own choice at the beginning did not really work well for me. And I remember somebody saying something about our healthcare system sometimes not having enough record of our own medical patterns to give counsel and advice as to what, you know, a woman should use and not use. So what I'm just going to say is that when it comes to family planning, try and consult a very good health practitioner and then observe your body. If you know that it's not working for you, please find the one that works for you.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Like, I don't want to go and be telling my story about how one time I started to calculate 28 days. This clearly work. It didn't work.
Surprises.
I got surprised. I had a wow.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's really by the way, right? But yeah, I would just say as regards family planning, I'm very open to it. I think it helps. And there are different methods.
Yeah,
It's not every
yeah.
time that you have to insert something into your body. There are
Yeah.
different methods. And the truth of the matter is that when it comes to planning, it's just like even if you're planning for your finance, you cannot expect to, I don't know if the word is win all. Like you cannot say, I'm saving money because I want to build a house. And at the same time, every money that comes to you, you are spending it lavishly. There has to be that place where you will decide that, right now I'm hungry for so and so thing. But I can't because I'm saving to do this.
Yeah.
So when you plan, it's almost the same because people say things like, oh, I can't use this method because it's not as, I will no longer be enjoying this. Oh, I can't use this method because you have to use your tongue and count your teeth and eventually decide whatever it is
What
that
works for
you know, what works for you. So I think, yeah, but to really, like I said, we are not medical practitioners.
Yeah.
So get medical advice, get sound counsel, and listen to your body because your body actually speaks, right? Okay, so on that note, I'll transition to when you learned that you were going to become a mother. How did you feel? Did anything change for you?
Okay. Yeah, because I think what changed for me was, I don't know, I'm someone, I don't have OCD, but I love to plan. I love to prepare ahead. So when I learned that, okay, I learned I got pregnant. I don't know, but I was just, I thought I should be prepared. So I started reading books about pregnancy. In fact, when I went for a scan and I realized I was going to have a male child, I started reading book about on how to train boys, you know, how to groom a boy child, what should a boy be doing from 0 to 6, how do you love a boy, because they are different.
Yes, true that. Love languages for children.
For children and all those things. So I was really open-minded. And then I think another thing was I now became more conscious about, it helped me spiritually because, you know, children observe, they learn by observation.
True.
And you know, I hear it a lot, children learn by observation, not just what you say to them. So I started asking myself, do I have the right value systems? It made me to think about my life. The things I say, do I practice them? You know, and then it made me have a rethink. And then I began to also put some things into perspective. I began to readjust some things to make them a habit.
So that it's easy to pass them on.
to pass them. all.
Also,
Yeah, so I think that was.
by the way, she got her son a book for his 1 year, 1 year or 2 years. This woman, the thing she does. No, I mean, I say it, Princess is my friend, but I am really inspired by the way she lives her life. If you see, her son is not here, and I remember her writing to my beloved, and I just opened the book and I'm like, oh, such a sweet mommy. No, it's the intentionality, it's the planning. You see, and if you see her son, actually, I think it's even our kids, right? There's an air of maturity that these children roll with. Sometimes when I see them, I'm like, what? Who is this old man? But truly, yes, I believe so strongly that God has a role to play in molding kids.
Yeah.
But you see, parenting. You see that thing, was it Pastor Femi Lazarus or somebody that, I don't know who said it, but said if you see people that comment anyhow on social media, they didn't come from good families. And some people were very mad, like, do you know what my parents did? But the truth is, I agree that there are some children that become wayward despite all of the effort that good parents actually put in. But many times, is yaga parenting that bets forth yaga character.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'm telling you, you just see some children that are so entitled, see some children that are so crude. They don't know simple courtesy of thank you, sorry. And these are things that you teach children. Yes. And if you don't, they say, there's this something about one charity begins at home. Yes, there's a molding. Because you can't expect a child that sees the father telling the mother something is wrong with your head, and then you think that child will be loving. That is the love the child wants to give. Yeah. That's why when you see some kids, 2, 3, 4 years, they're already fighting in school because of what they see at home and what they're exposed to.
Very
right?
True.
So let's talk about body changes. Did you have any shocking body change?
A lot.
Okay, so how was it for you?
A lot. It came with a level of insecurity.
Okay.
Because I used to have, my body is still lovely, but you can't compare what your body looks like before pregnancy and after pregnancy. So I won't go into details, but it came with this shock. I knew my body was going to change,
but you didn't know.
But I didn't know it's going to take a while. Yeah. I think I saw something online that, this animal called swan.
Yeah.
They are pink. It's pink like this.
They could be white. I know swan.
They could be white.
I know swans.
And pink or something like that. So I saw something online where they were saying that when a swan puts to bed, she loses her pink. And it can take a while, like it can take seasons for that pink to be restored, and she will get back to herself. So that's what I thought. Maybe I thought the process would be faster. You understand? So when you are pregnant, you get some dark patches. I've never had a stretch mark in my life.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to be proud of it, like I have stretch mark. But pregnancy came with stretch mark. The first stretch mark in my life, and I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
So, and the stretch mark is still there, but I'm learning to live with some of the changes.
Awesome.
And yeah.
So, I actually want us to talk a bit about how parenting has evolved. I don't know if that's the word to use, but I know that there's been a lot of changes, or new age parents seem to some way, somehow... Okay, let me not put words in your mouth. Do you think there's a difference between how we are parenting and how our parents parented? I like it.
Okay, yeah. I think there's quite a lot of differences.
Okay.
And that's because our parents back then parented with, would I say, little information. We are in a digital age.
An information age.
Information age and everything. So not all our parents then had even access to, because there were books then, but people didn't really see the need
to read,
to get informed just because of parenting in quotes. Do you understand? People thought it's a natural ability.
Yeah.
So once you have a child, you're already equipped to train that child. So I think that was the mistake they made. And in our time now, in fact, you don't need to read to know what to do. Information is just flying around on Instagram, YouTube, and the rest of it. And when you listen to those things, sometimes you get to see that there are insights in most of those things that are being said.
True.
So I think it's different. It's different.
Okay, so what do you say about putting children in a box. Now, do you think you would ever be the parent who would decide that this is what you want your child to be? Because you said something about observation, that at an early age you can observe if your child likes music or if your child, and then you spoke about delving into that. But there are also parents who feel like there is like a standard, and there are still people who, some person might be watching this video and that's how they think, like there's a standard way that children should be. This is how they should learn. This is what they should learn. And for them to actually be successful in life, these are the areas or the paths that they should take.
Yeah.
So what's your perspective of this?
Okay, so I think this is where generations come to play. We are generations apart from the millennials, or do I use the word the baby bloomers, or what do they call them?
Yeah.
So when it comes to, number one, I think observation is key. Then I also believe in giving your child the opportunity to really see a lot of things, to touch a lot of things. Because sometimes you might not really know what a particular, even as we are, for instance, growing up, I didn't have so many opportunities, like maybe to go on swimming lessons,
To know if you even
to
like
hike, to surf. I see those things on TV, I admire it. And maybe, who knows, I would have been the world's best
if you had
surfer,
tried.
or something like that. But because I wasn't given that opportunity, so I think it's wrong to put your child in a box. Allow that child fly. Give them what you're. I think as a parent, you're just meant to be a guide and the air under their wings. But really, allow that child fly. Give them opportunities. I was speaking to my husband, and I don't know, but I'm just interested in my child learning lots of things. I told him, I said, when he's 6, okay, from 0 to 6, we are seeing a love sound. Let's begin to look at this music thing. He loves to drum. Keyboard. Let's allow him drum. Then it also informs the kind of school you are going to put them. Do they have a music school? He's not learning it now because he wants to make money with it.
He's just exploring.
So there's an exploration a children needs to have. Aside that, I also was telling my husband that, okay, maybe when he's 12, there's nothing wrong in saying, okay, go and learn how to repair automobiles. It might not be the roadside mechanic, and it doesn't disturb his normal education. Even before 12, if there's a basketball club, why not? If there's a chess club, why not? Because at this point, the brain is still in the formative years, and it has the ability to learn a lot of things.
That's true.
The brain can store a lot of information. It's because that's the formative years of that child.
True.
So I think putting the child in the box, because when you give that child opportunity to see different things, that child will begin to know where they are tilted towards.
True. They begin to know, okay, I like this, I don't like this. Exactly. I've observed I do this, and I do not. That makes it.
And remember, we are in a new dispensation. So I tell people, what we give you money these days is not the conventional things.
I tell you.
And that's the truth.
True.
So we shouldn't be about money-driven, but I think satisfaction, fulfillment, purpose. There are people who are just travel vloggers.
And they are making
it. And they are happy. At least they are fulfilled. Let me use that word. Good. So I think that's... So I'm not in a...
So you're not that type of parent that would, if your child says, Mommy, what I want to do in my life is to travel around the world.
I think if my child
you don't want to save life.
If my child says that, of course I will pray, because I'm very intentional about having a child that loves God.
Very intentional.
So if my child says that, I'm going to go back to God and find out, is this your will for this child? And if it is the will of God for this child, and we ask God for the grace to support that child. I think that's what every parent should look forward to.
Somebody say, go super mama. You just have to do. You have to drop that in the comments. Say, like, princess, super mom. I think I love it. I love it 100%, and I completely agree with her. So you see the perspective where she just tied in. That's where I really wanted to just lean on. You say the place of God. The God factor is so important and crucial in the life of a child, because we are only but stewards. I know how when you're giving a gift to steward, you cannot exactly say that you know the gift like the owner. It's the person that gave it to you, who created it. That's the person that knows better what the purpose of that thing is. You know, so if you start early to pray for your child and trust in the leadership of God for that child, I believe so strongly that when you begin to see the child manifest the dimension, because God is vast, you cannot keep God in a box. You can't say that this is how God is or this is how God is. God, you can see God manifest in a lot of ways, and every single one of us, we came out of him. So if he decides that he wants to manifest in your child through a particular dimension, then please allow the child to bloom. Allow the child to bloom. But it's important that you yourself as a parent, you can't love a child more than God that gave you that child. And then I also want to speak to parents who are dealing with children that have special needs. I know that it's not easy, and that's the truth. Nobody can really understand what it is, first of all, to be a mother. And then you now have a child who you will always need to mother for probably a really long time. There's some women who have had to quit their jobs just so they can cater to children that have. And I really want to say that I celebrate you. In fact, we truly, truly, truly honor your resilience, honor your passion and your love for your children. And yes, so we're basically just saying that eventually at the end, whether your child has special needs, whether your child looks like the everyday kind of child, you must understand that there is no one person that is without purpose or that exists for just to fill in space. I mean, look at the popular Nick Vujicic, armless, limbless. And that man is one of the best public speakers that I know, married with a family. Only God can do that. So please partner with God to actually see. And that's why I would say is that know God early. It's very good. It saves you a lot. Because the time that you begin to start navigating life, you will be on cruise mode. Because you would have learned so many things, already.
Remember, transformation is in action. See you next time.